Imagine living in a place where love itself became dangerous, where a quiet drive with someone you care about could end in terror, where the killer didn't just murder but wrote letters, laughed at police, and vanished without a trace. This is the true story of the Zodiac Killer, a name that still haunts America more than 50 years later. Chapter 1. Fear comes to California. In the late 1960s, Northern California was changing. The summer of love had faded. The Vietnam War filled the news. Trust in authority was breaking down. And beneath the surface of everyday life, something dark was beginning to move. On December 20th, 1968, two teenagers, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, parked their car on a quiet road near Vallejo, California. They were young, innocent, just enjoying each other's company. Minutes later, a gunman approached. David was shot point blank in the head. Betty Lou tried to run. She never made it far. 5 bullets ended her life in the cold night air. At first, police believed it was a tragic but ordinary crime. A random attack, maybe a robbery gone wrong. They were wrong. Chapter 2. I Did It Again. 6 months later, on July 4th, 1969, another couple, Darlene Farron and Michael Majow, were parked at a lover's lane in Blue Rock Springs Park. Fireworks exploded in the distance. Then headlights appeared. A man stepped out of a car and calmly walked toward them. Without warning, he opened fire. Darlene died later at the hospital. Michael survived, shot multiple times, bleeding but alive. And for the first time, the killer made a mistake. Michael described the man as white, stocky, around 5'8", wearing glasses, but before police could make sense of it, something terrifying happened. 3 major newspapers received letters. Each one began the same way. This is the Zodiac speaking. The writer claimed responsibility for both attacks. Included were coded messages, known as cryptograms, and a threat. If the letters weren't published, he would kill again. The killer wasn't hiding. He wanted attention. Chapter 3. The codes. The Zodiac Killer didn't just want to be feared. He wanted to be admired. The letters included complex ciphers made of strange symbols. He claimed they revealed his identity, but only if police were smart enough to decode them. A married couple from California, both school teachers, managed to crack the first cipher. The message was disturbing. I like killing people because it is so much fun. There was no name, no confession, just cruelty, and a chilling line at the end. When I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and those I have killed will become my slaves. This wasn't a man seeking escape. This was a man enjoying control. Chapter 4. The Man in the Hood. On September 27, 1969, college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were relaxing by Lake Berryessa. A man approached them wearing something out of a nightmare, a black executioner-style hood, a white symbol painted on the chest, a crossed circle. He spoke calmly, politely. He said he had escaped from prison and needed money and their car. Then he tied them up and stabbed them repeatedly. Before leaving, he walked to their car and wrote a message on the door detailing his previous murders and signing it with the Zodiac symbol. Cecilia died 2 days later. Brian survived. And now, police knew something terrifying. This killer wasn't panicking. He was performing. Chapter 5. Murder in San Francisco. Less than a month later, on October 11, 1969, the Zodiac struck again, this time in the heart of San Francisco. Taxi driver Paul Stein picked up a passenger. Minutes later, the passenger shot him in the head. Witnesses saw the killer calmly wipe down the cab, then walk away. Police officers were nearby, but due to a radio error, they were told to look for a black suspect. The Zodiac walked past them, free. Days later, another letter arrived. The Zodiac mocked the police for letting him escape. He included a piece of Paul Stein's blood-stained shirt as proof. The message was clear. He was smarter than them, and he knew it. Chapter 6. The media monster. From this point on, the Zodiac became a national obsession. Every letter was front-page news. Every symbol analyzed. Every threat feared. He claimed bombs. He claimed more victims. He claimed total control. But something strange began to happen. The murders stopped. The letters continued. but the violence faded. Some believe he was arrested for another crime. Others think he moved away, or simply aged out of killing. One thing is certain, he was never caught. Chapter 7. Suspects and silence over the decades. Police identified dozens of suspects. The most famous was Arthur Lee Allen. He lived near the crime scenes. He wore Zodiac-style watches. He made disturbing comments about killing. But evidence never stuck. DNA tests decades later ruled him out. Others came close, but none close enough. The case went cold. Chapter 8. A code cracked too late in 2020. More than 50 years later, one of Zodiac's remaining ciphers was finally solved by amateur code breakers. The message read, "I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me." He said he wasn't afraid of the gas chamber. He said he wasn't who they thought. Once again, no name, no confession, just a final laugh from beyond the grave. Chapter 9. Why the Zodiac still haunts us. The Zodiac Killer wasn't the deadliest serial killer in American history, but he may be the most disturbing because he was never punished, because he turned murder into a game, because somewhere perhaps he lived a normal life, surrounded by people who never knew who he really was, and because even now he remains out there in history. Unmasked, unanswered, unforgotten. The Zodiac Killer reminds us that some monsters are never caught, some stories never end, and some questions will haunt us forever. If you enjoyed this true crime story, like the video, subscribe for more, and tell me which unsolved case should we explore next.